So we all know Antoine Semenyo is actually one of the best players in the Premier League this season, and he has been doing absolutely wonders. And just some weeks ago, David Austin actually broke that he's going to be available in the January transfer window for just £65 million. And we all know Antoine Semenyo has been really wonderful for Bournemouth this season. He has been one of the best players in the Premier League in terms of output and in terms of goals and assists. And we all know that Ruben Amorim and the Ineos team has been prioritizing buying Premier League proven players that are in their prime, that are very good in playing in their prime years, that is going to really help us. And with Manchester United potentially losing our deal of Amad Diallo, player in demo to AFCON by December, Manchester United actually needs to get a new front line because Manchester United needs to, elevate our front line. We need to find a player like Antoine Semenyo is definitely looking to, increase our output in our attack. It's going to really help to add a lot of goals and assists, giving the goals and assists that have been provided front three. And you all know that for Manchester United, buying players not just about adding a lot of players. It's not about the volume of players that we have in our team. It's basically about adding quality to the team, adding players to the team that is going to really elevate the team. And you could see that Antoine Semenyo actually ticks a lot of boxes for Manchester United in terms of criteria because number one is Premier League proven and number two is very versatile because if you're building the Premier League winning squad, if you're building a team that is going to be really efficient in the Premier League for a very long time, just like Ruben Amorim always emphasizes in Manchester United. You need players that can be able to play in a variety of positions in the right wing back, in the left wing back, in the left 10, in the right 10, and in the number 9 position. Antoine Semenyo is a player that can basically play in various positions and he can play in those positions effectively. But we can actually get into that in a bit. And also, one of the reasons why getting Antoine Semenyo is actually very wonderful and it ticks the criteria of Ineos is that he's very physical. Because when Manchester United wanted to buy Sesko, Koha, and Brian Idemo, physicality was one of the factors that was being considered. Players that can be able to, meet the physical demands of the Premier League, the intensity of the Premier League. Players that are very agile, that are very powerful, that are very explosive, both in and out of possession. Definitely, Antoine Semenyo is a player that ticks all those boxes because he's a very physical player. And lastly, you're going to find out that the output is definitely one of the criteria that Antoine Semenyo ticks because Manchester United has been fond of buying strikers that don't actually provide outputs in terms of goals and assists. They really lack that finishing touch. They lack the goals and assists, and this is something that Semenyo has actually improved from last season because he has been providing a lot of goals and assists. If you look at the charts for goals and assists this season, he's up there with the likes of Igor Thiago and Erling Haaland. That tells you that he has really improved from last season in terms of outputs, in terms of goals and assists, and he's a player that can be able to help Manchester United in various positions, given that we are going to have a lot of deficiencies in our attacking position this December. So guys, who wouldn't want this quality player in Manchester United? So guys, let's actually go into analyzing all the characteristics of Antoine Semenyo and how he can fit into the Ruben Amorim side of Manchester United. So guys, let's actually talk about the goal scoring of Antoine Semenyo. And in terms of goal scoring, you're going to find out that he averages 0.27 goals per 90 minutes and he has an accuracy of 40%, which is definitely not an elite goal scoring output for a player like Antoine Semenyo, and definitely plays for a team like Bournemouth where he is the one that he's definitely not the one that gets all the goal scoring opportunity because they also have strikers in the team that actually feeds off his shot creating abilities or chance creating abilities. So definitely in terms of goal scoring, it's not that elite, but creates goal scoring opportunity right now like wingers like Kvaratskhelia, and you're going to find out that he's kind of a Kudikapo kind of winger that has a lot of touches in the box, that often runs in behind with a lot of pace, but we actually have not seen a lot of consistency from Semenyo when it comes to running behind, and definitely when it comes to the transitional side like Manchester United or mostly transitional side like Liverpool, definitely you're going to see him have more touches in the box and also running behind. And in terms of scoring, he shoots with his both feet with a lot of power, with a lot of precision. So he's very good in scoring with his both feet with a lot of driven power, with a lot of pace, with a lot of precision. He's a player that knows how to score, and he's a player that actually scores unexpected goals from tight angle because he's a very strong player. He's a very physical player, so he knows how to maneuver from those tight places and create shooting angles for himself. He's this kind of player that likes to play against low block teams because he knows how to dribble, he knows how to chip in with his right or left foot and try to maneuver tight spaces and try to shoot from deep angles. So this is the kind of player that Antoine Semenyo is. He's definitely a player that can be refined when it comes to his goal scoring. I think he needs to score different kind of goals more because he definitely cannot be a player that always scores go from tight angles or try to always create your shooting angles. I think that he should be able to score, variety of goals in the future to come. So guys, we want to actually talk about the dribbling of Antoine Semenyo. So when you're talking about the dribbling of Antoine Semenyo, he's definitely a different player when it comes to the stats, his metrics, his volume, and the eye test. And when you're talking about the stats, you're going to find out that he's not a high volume dribbler like a kind of Jeremy Doku, like kind of Imagino, Usman Dembele. And that does not actually mean that he's not a good dribbler or he doesn't know how to dribble. He's definitely a player that is not bad at dribbling. He's very efficient in dribbling. In the eye test, he knows how to dribble using his 2 foot, which makes him very unpredictable for defenders. He's a player that can be able to dribble with his left or his right foot and move up the pitch progressively. He's very efficient in dribbling, and whenever he chooses to dribble, he's very efficient and he really loses the ball. And definitely, this is something that is going to be a nightmare for defenders whenever he plays for teams that are playing in the Champions League or the Europa League. He's definitely a player that can be able to run against defenders, trouble defenders. But the big question still remains why he doesn't really chooses to dribble all the time. Because definitely, if you're that good in dribbling and if you really lose the ball, I think he's a player that should be able to dribble more. Because I think the big question still begs why he doesn't dribble more often. Because definitely, if he plays for a club like Liverpool, plays for a club like Manchester United, he definitely needs to be dribbling a lot and he needs to be showing more of his quality. But definitely overall, I think his dribbling is very elite for moving forward. So guys, let's actually talk about the possession of Antoine Semenyo and how he tries to keep possession from the team. I think overall in his possession is actually very poor from his metrics and his volume. He just has a pass accuracy under 80%, and also if you look at his volume, you're going to find out that he doesn't receive a lot of passes, and so his possession is really not, is below average. It's not really modest. So I think for a player of the level of Antoine Semenyo, I think I want to really see more in terms of keeping possession, recycling possession. He's a player that likes to keep it simple. He's a player that actually doesn't like to play a lot of progressive passes. And I think probably because he's in Bournemouth, I think if he goes to a more bigger club, yeah, he has the opportunity to always play in the transition side, always face defenders and take him home. I think he's going to play more progressive passes. I think he's going to be more progressive, and I think that he lacks this technical refinement or a technical IQ like a player like a Kvaratskhelia that can play those one-time passes under pressure, that can be able to maneuver those tight spaces with a lot of refined passes. I think in his passing, he needs a lot of refining, and I think overall he's not really bad for his play of his staff. So I think he's a player that can develop when it comes to keeping possession for the team. So guys, let's actually talk about the creativity of Antoine Semenyo, and this is the reason why I really feel that he cannot really suit in the wing back position. But definitely we are going to get into that in a bit. So when it comes to his creativity, that is definitely very shocking, and it is something that we don't expect from a player of Antoine Semenyo with his form this season and all that. You're definitely expecting his metrics, his volume in terms of creativity to be high, but his through balls per 90 minutes is really poor. I think his metrics in terms of comparison with the likes of Luis Diaz, even though he is in a weaker team, I think he's really shocking. He's good creating actions, through balls, short creating actions as well. I think his stats are relatively really poor, even though he plays on the weak side. And in terms of the eye test, you're going to find out that actually he's a nice tool, he's a nice asset, he's a player that can be able to play those through balls during counter attacks. He's a player that can be able to be utilized during counter attacks, and especially when he beats his man, is very good. Playing those through balls, but I feel that he needs a lot of refinement because most of the times during counter attacks, passing is a bit overweighted, and I think most of the times he needs more refinement, he needs more preciseness in his delivery. But I feel that his delivery is still raw, and this is something that he definitely needs to work on, because definitely if he leaves Bournemouth, I don't think he's going to play in the Pep Guardiola or Mikel Arteta kind of team where they have to control possession and play in a more refined way. I think he's going to play in a team like Manchester United or Liverpool, where they're going to play more in the transitional style. And I think if you're playing in the transitional team, definitely in terms of your creativity, your refinement really needs to be high. So guys, there have been a lot of talks about where Antoine Semenyo is going to play for Manchester United, and if he's going to be suited to the left wing back position or the right wing back position or the left end, the right end, or the striker position. So that guys, looking at his characteristics and looking at all the characteristics of Antoine Semenyo I've talked about so far in this video, we're going to find out that he's definitely not the right player to play in the left wing back position, because if you want to play in the wing back position, definitely I watched Ruben Amorim Sporting a couple of times. You're going to find out that the left wing backs are like actual wingers. When I mean actual wingers, their output in terms of creativity, in terms of crossing, in terms of their defensive rate are absolutely wide. Their numbers are absolutely mental. And you're going to find out that Antoine Semenyo doesn't really click all those boxes. In terms of crossing, his crossing has been really, really bad. He averages 1.77 crosses per 90 minutes, and his accuracy in terms of crossing really, really bad and really short. And when you also talk about his defensive rate, he's a player like Brian Ejimo that can be able to defend really well, that can really play really well in terms of defense. He can be able to play in that back five to help Manchester United defensively. He has an absolutely wonderful, successful defensive rate. He has a successful defensive rate per 90 of 6.14. That is definitely above all the wingers that we compared him to. That tells you that he's a player that can be able to play in that back five system. In terms of playing as a wing back, he can be able to track back to help Manchester United during defensive situations. But in terms of attacking, his crossing is really, really bad. His creativity is not really, really elite, and his passing is not really refined. And definitely, when you're playing this wing back position, you need your passing to be refined. You need your creativity, your refining of position to be elite. And this is something that he doesn't really have in his locker at this moment. I think that it is manageable, it is modest, but it is not really at an elite level. And Manchester United actually need wing backs that are actually elite in creativity, in passing, and ability to face. So definitely, in terms of where Antoine Semenyo is going to play in Manchester United, definitely is going to be able to play maybe in the right turn or the left turn or the striker position. This is definitely the three position that I know that he can be able to play, because he can be able to play in that tight spaces. Manchester United really find it hard to break down low block teams, so definitely he can be able to maneuver those low block teams, create shooting angles in tight spaces, play unexpected shots in those hard situations during games. So in terms of where Antoine Semenyo is really going to explore his potential and nurture his potential in Manchester United, he can definitely play in the front three. But from what you have analyzed and all his characteristics, he's definitely off the limit when it comes to playing in any of the wing back position. So guys, I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section. I want you guys to share, to subscribe to that Old Trafford has been making more videos on Manchester United this December, and definitely we are releasing this video in the 1st of December, so definitely you should be expecting more content from Manchester United. Our next video definitely is going to be on Shea Lacy. You all know that Manchester United has been, he has been included in the team for Manchester United for a couple of games now. So definitely we are going to actually talk about all the characteristics of Shea Lacy and how it's going to be very crucial for Manchester United this festive period. So see you guys in my next video. Ciao.